Good morning, pig farmers and pig lovers. Welcome to Edovasal Pig Farm. I'm Daniel Ezeji, founder of Edovasal Pig Farm in Enugu. And today we shall look at puberty versus sexual maturity in girls. And now we are picking girls. Girls are what I call the virgin female pigs. Girls are those your female pigs have not given birth before, while the sows or sows, they are the ones that have given birth. So let's talk about puberty. When they start seeing that sign that they are about to become ready for mating and all that, versus sexual maturity. Because a lot of farmers mistake puberty with sexual maturity. A female pig might be showing signs of puberty, but that does not mean she's sexually mature for mating. And that's why we encourage farmers to not mate their female pig at the first heat. If you are not too patient, you can cross your female pig at second heat, but if you can wait until the third heat, you start getting better results. The objective here is to allow your girls to mature fully. Sexually maturity is very, very important, especially when it comes to girls. A lot of farmers complain that their pigs give birth to fewer children. I was reading yesterday on Facebook, a farmer was asking for the solution to the problem he's having in his farm, that his female pigs are giving birth to less than four and 3 children repeatedly. Now this can be caused by a lot of things, which we are going to look at some of them today. But one of the major causes of this is crossing underage and underweight animals. When you cross underage and underweight pigs, you don't really get very, very good results. In fact, some pigs start showing signs of puberty at 4 months. Some at 5 months, they will enter their first heat. But that does not mean that they are sexually mature. And a lot of farmers who are impatient or who don't really have the knowledge, they quickly cross them. In fact, that's why we encourage, especially my own students and those that care to watch my videos online. In these free episodes I give online, I always try to encourage people not to not to keep male and female pigs as from 4 months. When they are 4 months old, you want to separate the females from the males, So, but after sharing all these things here for free, someone will still come to ask questions about all of this, possibly because they don't watch the videos. But I'm still repeating it again in this particular video. Puberty is not the same as sexual maturity. You get that now? Girls can show heat signs, onset of puberty, but during that time they might not even ovulate. They might just show heat signs, but without ovulation. Ovulation comes with sexual maturity. Ovulation does not come with a puberty. Ovulation comes with sexual maturity. You understand? So for mating girls, sexual maturity should include, number one, standing. What do we call it now? When you apply back pressure, the back pressure tests on the female, you should be able to stand for at least 2 days during one heat. That's when you will know that your female pig is becoming sexually mature. Should be able to stand for 2 days, during one heat. Another one is ovulation of, at least this one is internal now. You need science to figure this one out. Ovulation of 14 plus eggs. ovulation of 14 plus eggs in the womb, Then also the third one is a uterine size to accommodate a target number of piglets. If the uterus of your pig, your gilt, is not large enough to accommodate large number of piglets, you won't get large number of piglets. Again, is evidence of normal heat intervals, so more than one, but more than 1 day of heat. Do you understand? More than 1 day of heat. But from the third, if you want maximum litre, you want to cross your peaks at the third heat. But there should be evidence of normal heat intervals. That is, you see the first heat this month, next month you should see another heat, third month you should see another heat, like normal heat interval. Not that you saw a heat this month and 3 months after, before you saw another heat, there's something wrong. So normal heat interval, there should be heat signs every 21 to 28 days. Do you understand? So the fifth is at least 16 millimeter back fat, to milk from. So you want your female gilt to have very good body condition. The back fat, that's where they convert the fat to milk to feed their piglets. So you want your piglet, your gilt to have about up to that 16 millimeter back fat, so that they can milk from it. Sometimes it might not be up to 16 millimeter, but your female pig should be big enough to accommodate. But to accommodate large litters, 16 millimeter back fat is ideal. All right. So another is at least your female pig should be weighing, for those foreign breeds, they should be weighing about 120 kg. Because those foreign breed, those pure breed, they weigh, if you feed them well, they can weigh 100 to 120 kg in 6 months. So usually you cross them at 7 months, and by that 7th month they should be weighing at least 120 kg. But our normal breeds are exempted from this, because they themselves are not really known for their own peculiar large litters, and sometimes we don't cross them as early as we cross these pure breeds. So but it depends on you have to understand the breed you have. But the number one major thing is, let them have a very good body condition, allow them to really mature, both in size and in age, before you cross. Okay, let's look at some of the physiology of puberty. The start of puberty is 40% heritable, very high. So that your female pig are showing signs of heat on time and as at when due is based on their parents and their great-grandparents, their grandparents and their great-grandparents, is heritable. Okay, and typically this ranges from the start of puberty, which is between 190 to 230 days, and this is influenced by, number one, environmental conditions the pig is kept in. So the environment, the housing also affects the pig. If they are very comfortable, they will enter heat as at when due. If they are not comfortable in their rooms, the stress and the whole thing might make them change their system. Another that influences also this start of puberty is genetics. Now, apart from that, there is what we call puberty induction procedures. Puberty induction procedures. Well, this is apart from the injection aspect, those drugs for inducing some, is it diffuse or something like that, using to induce heat. Apart from that, these are technical things you can do in your farm to induce heat. I've shared this in some of my previous videos, but let's repeat it again for emphasis. These procedures, they are done for groups of gilts growing up into a typical grower finisher environment under ad-lib feeding system. Ad-lib feeding system is a continuous feeding, and this is the one used by most commercial farms. They make sure there is continuous provision of feed for their breeding stock. Typically, this is started within the exposure to boa at 24 weeks. That's how we start it. You first of all expose the female to the boa between 24 weeks. That's 160 days of age to 180 days of age. You expose the female to the boa, but do not allow them to get mated. Just expose them for maybe a few hours, bring her out. Don't allow them to mate, all right? And anyone that could not meet up with this selection process, you should sell that one off as pork. Like I said, these procedures are used by big commercial pig farms, because they know that if they have 100 gilts, it's not possible that all the whole 100 will be fertile. At least maybe 90% might be fertile, 10% might not be. So they put them through this test, and those 10% that are not, they set them off as meats. They don't cross them. Also, move gilts to a new pen near the boa. That's another way. You move them near the boa, let them be perceiving the odor of the boa. This will also provoke heat, and it will provoke heat and heat signs. Also, another step is putting them in a very big pen, so that you can watch their behaviors. You want to see them during that exposure to the bull. You want to see them jumping on each other, But apart from that, put them in a pen that gives them more space. You don't want to cluster them. When they are clustered together and they don't have sufficient space for each other, for themselves, you see, it will provoke fighting and other vices. And in one of my videos, soon I'll be talking about some vices, But putting them in a little space, putting a lot of them in a little space, will provoke these vices: fighting, tail biting, ear biting, neck biting, navel licking, and the rest of them. So you don't want to cluster them. You want to give them space. Also, exposure to a mature boa and relocation helps to bring them on heat. Moving them from where they used to be to another room is also one of the things that will help them come on heat. It will change their physiology and psychology, and you see them coming on heat. Finally, is mixing them into new groups can also help. But when you are mixing them into new groups, be very watchful. Those aggressive ones, take them aside. You don't want to mix gentle pigs with aggressive pigs, especially at that age. The gentle ones will be at the mercy of the aggressive ones. Okay, and when you are doing this is very risky. So when you are doing it, don't put them in groups of 4 or more, but make sure you observe, make sure they are not aggressive. And actually, pigs become very aggressive if their environment the space is small, the feeding is not sufficient. They fight for space, they fight for food. All right, now let's talk about gilt selection criteria. One of the criteria you use in selecting replacement gilts is you want to first of all pick those females that reach puberty earlier. You understand? When you pick those ones that reach puberty very early, that means they will keep passing that on to their gene, passing it on to their daughters. Again, you also pick fastest growing gilts, the shooters. Slow growers are more likely to have delayed puberty, so you pick the fastest growing gilts. Also, you pick those that respond to induction. Responding to induction, which you are carrying out. That's your induction process we talked about earlier. Those ones that respond to it quickly, that's the ones you want to pick. Okay, now for the boa, we have been talking about the gilts. The boa also play a good role. The boa you will use for this exposure should be older than 9 months. The boa you should use should be older than 9 months. Number 2, the boa should have high libido. High libido shows in what we call active champing. See, the boa will be champing, making noise, and salivating also. Salivating, and producing this pheromone hormone. So you want your boa salivating and champing. Should be vocal with also calm temperament. That's very key. Let your boa be vocal but also have calm temperament. You don't want a boa that is a fighter. The boa that when he tries to get a female pig and the female pig is playing stubborn, he will start attacking and fighting the female. You don't want that kind of boa. You should have a boa, use a boa that is have a good temperament. Like, is gentle but firm. He's gentle. If the female is refusing, he's not going all out attacking and trying to force his way. Such a boa will always trigger fights in the pen. So another is this exposure. It should be daily. It should be daily. Especially, you can do it when you come to feed your animals. Put them in. Let the boa chase around them before you serve. You can be serving others their food and water. Serve everybody food and serve everybody water. But when it gets to food, serve every other person food. Then go to the female rooms, serve them their own food. But you know that the females are already with the boa is chasing them up and down. Now, before you leave the farm, you now take the females to their rooms, leave the boa, serve him his own food, and lock your farm. So that kind of exposure is what we are talking about. Should be daily rather than intermittent, and do not skip a day or a weekend. You want to do it for, maybe if you are doing it for 5 days, do it daily. If you are doing it for 7 days, do it daily. Because you are trying to select very good females that will become breeding head for you in your farm. And minimum of 10 minutes per gilt per day is okay. Minimum of 10 minutes, but if you can go beyond 10 minutes, you will get more benefit from 30 minutes exposure per gilt per day. With a boa, you will get more from more than 30 minutes exposure than 10 minutes. All right. Continuous housing of gilts with boas or even next to boas reduces the efficacy of this exposure. You don't want to, and that's what a lot of farms do. They allow the female and the male to grow up from childhood till they are big. That reduces the efficacy of the exposure, because this will cause what we call cohabitation. The boa will be looking at the female as mates, or their siblings and stuff like that, and he will not be triggered to cross. In fact, himself, his libido will not be because when you're exposing female to the boa, you're also helping the boa to improve his own libido and all that, improve his own exercise himself. But continuous housing of gilt and boas will reduce the efficacy of this process. You don't want to put them together. You don't want them to live together. You don't want even staying together close to the pen. You don't want that, because it will reduce the efficacy of the exposure. Now, direct physical contact is always the best. It's always the best. Some people, just like we teach, when we want to induce our gilts, we give them pawpaw leaves. We use the pawpaw stalk to touch their female organs, their vulva area. Use the pawpaw stem to touch them while they're eating the pawpaw leaf. The pawpaw leaf contains some libido stuff, but even though you are doing that, you also want to bring the female in contact with the boa. Also, we have this fantastic product that can help your female mature very well, which is the Edovasal Winner tonic. The Winner tonic contains this folic acid, which helps in ovulation, helps in setting the female organ inside the body, the womb, and all that, getting them ready. So you can also think about getting this product. Then other of our products, our investment packages, you can invest cash, and get 30% in 6 months as interest, or 60% in 12 months as interest. You can also order for our feeds, our concentrate, our supplements. Use it to mix feed with PKC only. Your feed, PKC and our supplement or concentrate alone makes a balanced diet for your pigs, and is good for all ages of the pig. So there are a lot of other products in the product catalog in this video. You can check them out. If you need anything, let us know. Till next time, stay blessed.